Hello everyone, hope you're having the most fantastic day today. Welcome to the Film Insight channel. For today's video, we're going to discuss even more hotels featured on Hotel Hell and reveal how they're doing now. So sit back, relax, and without further ado, let's get right into the content, guys. Beachfront Inn and Inlet closed.
The boss man caught it.
And where's the other half gone?
Maybe they ate it,
Belt,
I don't know.
pair of shoes.
This episode from Season 3 found Gordon Ramsay in Fort Pierce, Florida, where he would be staying at the Beachfront Inn and Inlet in hopes of rescuing the establishment. The Beachfront Inn and Inlet was opened by current owner Brian Paul in 2012, using money from his family's thriving fish market, but 3 years later he ran into trouble.
Wow, that's loud, that music.
It is loud.
Between noise complaints from guests, lousy food, a rudderless, doe-eyed owner, and an incompetent chef who just didn't seem to care, the inn was floundering. The inn's most egregious sin was the walk-in freezer, whose contents were stored in a manner ripe for cross-contamination. Inside it, Ramsay was shocked when he discovered a tub of rotten, festering pina colada, moldy vegetables, and to top it off, raw chicken placed on top of cooked chicken.
How? What is that?
Pina colada. Why it's like that, I have no idea. That's terrible. Trash, please.
Ben, the lazy and incompetent executive chef, was responsible for this unsanitary mess, yet Brian was too timid to discipline or fire the man. Later on in the show, Ramsay and his team revamped the inn with 2 swanky new rooms, a beach club, and a smaller, more manageable menu in preparation for the final dinner service of the show in which the mayor would be present. But it was all for nothing. Brian's weak leadership was on full display during the dinner service, and the Beachfront Inn and Inlet would fall flat on its face. The dinner was marred by slow service and bad food, which featured overdressed salad and overcooked dry chicken. Chef Ben further showed his incompetence by telling Ramsay that the mayor had received his food when he hadn't. Brian, for his part, went around looking like a deer in the headlights. Later on, Ramsay would intercept some of Chef Ben's specialty overcooked chicken and asked Brian what he thought of it. Brian cluelessly replied he thought it was raw.
It was never cooked. Even she's spotting it's dry. And you're saying it's raw. Let me tell you something, and listen carefully. I'm going. I'm packing my bags.
Ramsay just lost all hope, shook Brian's hand and quit, leaving doe-eyed Brian looking confused as he held onto Ben's plate of overcooked chicken. How is the Beachfront Inn and Inlet doing? This episode was filmed in October 2015, and 4 months after filming, the celebrity chef reported that Brian had finally found it in him to fire the lazy executive chef Ben and hire all new kitchen staff. Brian stepped up even more and installed a nighttime curfew, allowing the hotel's guests to catch some peaceful sleep. He even added new tiles and kitchenettes on 12 of the inn's rooms, new patio furniture, and added a gift shop that sold co-branded Navy SEAL Museum merchandise. The reviews after Hotel Hell were mixed at best. Some guests still complained of noise and music that blared till 2 a.m. at the night. Others found the rooms unclean, the service poor, and the food bland. The bathtubs were also grimy. However, the more positive reviews did not seem to have such an awful time. They liked the beachfront views and moderately enjoyed the food. The Beachfront Inn and Inlet was later sold to new owners in 2019, who rebranded it the Sunrise Sands Beach Resort. Reviews on Yelp and TripAdvisor for the renamed Sunrise Sands Beach Resort are decidedly awful, with the inn having 2.5 stars on both sites. Customers say the rebranded hotel's rooms are nasty and outdated, with the beds and linen worn out. The towels are paper-thin rags, and there's decay and cleanliness issues everywhere. The service is horrible, and the food equally as bad. The new Sunrise Sands Beach Resort sounds more like a dingy motel that just happens to be by the ocean. At least Brian seems happy, because based on his Facebook page, he got married on May the 29th, 2020, to a beautiful wife. Towns Inn, open.
Oh my God. Look at all this stuff.
If you thought the Beachfront Inn was terrible, wait till you see the Towns Inn. You will be gobsmacked. For this horror show of a hotel, Gordon Ramsay traveled to one of America's most celebrated small towns, Harper's Ferry in West Virginia, just 60 miles from Washington, D.C. What he found there was one of the grossest examples of malpractice seen on Hotel Hell. The innkeeper, Karen Townsend, presented herself as a nutcase, bent on denying every imperfection of her hotel. The kitchen was laughable as it contained 5 microwaves and 2 chefs.
What is that there? A sports bar? Are these TV screens? What are those?
Microwaves.
How many microwaves have you got?
Well, there's 4 here and 1 in there, that's 5.
With the microwaves doing most of the heavy lifting. The kitchen idea of cooking was to reheat what was frozen, while the unclean oven would consider itself lucky when someone used it. What's more, the cook, Jeff, was found boiling burger patties topped with soggy cheese.
You're boiling a burger?
I'm just heating it back up.
When you say heating it back up, why aren't you cooking it from fresh?
We make them ahead of time.
This is what we got here. We don't...
A boiled burger?
Imagine that soggy, sad, putrid construction on your plate. Later on in the show, Chef Ramsay caught wind of a mummified chicken that was about to be prepared for an unlucky guest. It had been frozen for so long, it was hard to believe they hadn't just excavated some prehistoric bird.
This is the dish of the day. It's our rotisserie chicken. It was roasted 6 months ago.
On the menu, it's got rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
You buy them at a grocery store.
Yes.
The Michelin star chef was so appalled he took the chicken and showed it to the guest because he felt that what Karen was doing was so wrong as to be damn near illegal. Head in the clouds, Karen continued to say that they have the best food in the area.
People say that we've got the best food in town and the freshest.
Stop there. Now you're sounding slightly bizarre. The best food in town?
Karen must have been sniffing potions in her spare time, but Ramsay could not have been prepared for the travesty he'd encounter in his bedroom carpet. It was Karen's diarrhea on his carpet. He was traumatized.
I've just done a swab test. Anything above 30, you're in the danger zone for unhygienic. What do you think the reading is?
50.
50.
60?
70.
803.
When confronted, Karen shrugged the whole thing off, saying that at least the room was clean. Gordon had had enough of that dump. While leaving, he caught sight of Karen's bedroom-cum-office. Her bed was a board covered in sheets and quilts. This inspired some pity in Gordon, who went to find her son in an effort to talk some sense into her. Once the 3 spoke together, the celebrated chef cleaned up the hotel, decluttered the rooms, and gave them a new look. The kitchen was given a smaller menu to work with, and Karen promised to keep the changes and not revert to her old, filthy ways. How is the Towns Inn faring today? This episode was filmed back in November 2015. After Hotel Hell, Karen kept her word, and her son Jason became more involved with the business. She also moved into a second-floor room at the Towns Inn. Today, the Towns Inn is doing well. It has 3.5 stars on Yelp, 4 stars on TripAdvisor, and 4.2 on Expedia. It even won a 2021 TripAdvisor Traveler's Choice Award. The comments indicate that guests find it a charming, homey, quaint little place in a picturesque location. It seems popular with hikers and bikers, and the guests who meet Karen find her friendly and welcoming. Even the negative reviews, which complain of dust, cobwebs, the occasional saggy bed, or uneven renovations, still say the staff is kind and the inn charming enough to forgive these missteps. Karen and her son Jason really have turned the place around. Calumet Inn, open.
It is absolutely disgusting.
For this Hotel Hell episode from Season 2, Gordon Ramsay headed over to the historic Calumet Inn in Pipestone, Minnesota. The Calumet Inn was built in 1887 and was owned by the Smirkovsky sisters, Rena and Vanda, at the time of filming. Their doting father, Jim Smirkovsky, bought the hotel for his spoiled daughters who had no idea how to run a hotel. Having no experience running a hotel did not stop the sisters from demoting the general manager, Mandy Thompson, to the front desk. They believed the staff were simply lazy and had nothing better to do than collect unearned paychecks. These two were so entitled. Even the parents decided to come back and help run the hotel or watch their daughters piss it all away. When Ramsay arrived in his room, he was greeted by a room with colours and decor fit for a gypsy. The room was cluttered and there was mold in the refrigerator. Another room had stained wallpaper that Ramsay thought had been peed on. Despite the sisters' owners blaming the staff, Ramsay would discover that they were lying.
Why is this hotel in such a state?
We have a lot of problems with the staff.
It's so hard, Gordon, to just repeat myself.
Server Jocelyn, who had worked at the Calumet for 2 years, revealed that the kitchen was understaffed with only 2 chefs. The kitchen manager, Jennifer, disclosed that the menu was huge.
The size of the menu, 2 cooks behind the line. I mean,
Ridiculous.
I don't get it.
And the kitchen underfunded, a factor that contributed to bad food. The food Ramsay tasted was terrible. The soup was burnt and disgusting, while the fish was hard. After speaking to the sisters' parents, Gordon advised the Smirkovskys to bring in new management or sell the hotel.
Pleasure to run the hotel for you, or do you want to sell it or shut it down? Decision is yours.
Pretty soon, the sisters revealed that they would step back from the hotel, leaving Mandy Thompson, the demoted general manager, to run the hotel. Ramsay revamped the hotel, giving the rooms a brand new look. He removed the hideous wallpaper and also painted the walls. The rooms got new wardrobes, new mattresses, cushions, bedding and linen. He also unveiled a new gym and new recipes provided by Rena and Vanda's mother, Rita, who happened to be a good cook. With everything looking spick and span, everyone was happy, and the sisters were sent packing. How is the Calumet Inn today? This episode was filmed in May 2013. After Gordon's visit, sales doubled. However, the Smirkovsky family would sell the Calumet Inn in April 2016 to Texas-based Herman Bauer and Chad McMillan for $800,000. The Smirkovskys had acquired it out of foreclosure in 2012 for $300,000. The new Texan owners would, however, struggle to operate the hotel. They gave it back to the Smirkovsky sisters, who would yet again sell it, this time to Tammy Grubbs for $500,000. In March 2020, the city of Pipestone condemned the building after failing to pass a fire inspection. Tammy Grubbs had run up 9 violations after falling behind in repairs to the ancient building. It reopened in November 2020, and as of 2022, Tammy Grubbs still owns the Calumet Inn. Historic Calumet Inn currently has 4 stars on TripAdvisor, 4.1 stars on Facebook, and 7.1 out of 10 on Booking.com. Guests rave about the great food and enjoy the historic hotel's antique dated look and feel. The staff are friendly and the service is great. Negative reviews point out that renovations are still ongoing and one should not expect much in the way of modern amenities. The Calumet is an old building, requiring constant maintenance. Vienna Inn, closed.
Let me just stand that on top.
Sure, put it right on top.
What is all this?
Bacon.
Oh, no.
But that's okay. I dropped it one shelf below. Instead of putting it where it belonged, I put it on the corner.
Vienna Inn was featured in Season 3 of Hotel Hell and had Chef Gordon Ramsay head out to the small industrial town of Southbridge, Massachusetts. The Austrian-themed inn and restaurant was owned and operated by husband and wife Jonathan and Lisa Kratch, who had bought the property in 2000. The hotel's problems were many. Lisa was a hoarder who had every cupboard and cabinet jam-packed with junk. She even went so far as to hoard her dead cat by stuffing it and placing it at the inn's entrance. Not a good first impression at all. Jonathan, who was both owner and chef, was subservient to his wife. His food also wasn't up to snuff as he served Ramsay some scallops that he thought looked like they were chewed and spat out by a dog.
You just served me one of the worst lunches I've ever eaten.
The kitchen was a cluttered mess, and the fridge was disorganized with everything edible just thrown in haphazardly, ripe for cross-contamination. The couple was dysfunctional, and the staff reported that the two frequently held screaming matches all over the inn, much to the guests' annoyance. On top of that, Lisa was abusive to the staff and made them buy their own $300 uniforms. They even had to ask the couple for their salary because there was no payroll system.
We don't have an actual payroll system.
There's no payroll system.
And then he'll say, yeah, I'll get you one, and he just never...
Ask him for your salary.
We have to ask ourselves.
for a check.
When it came to the rooms, Ramsay found the closet locked because Lisa was storing her clothes in it. She even had her bedroom adjacent to his. Moreover, the celebrated chef had heard whispers around town that Vienna Inn had a swingers hangout in the basement. And let me tell you, Lisa seemed like the type. Ramsay's investigations into the basement revealed an extensive wine collection and a mineral spa. I'm surprised it wasn't a full-on sex dungeon. To renovate the inn, Ramsay and his team brought in a new hotel management system that could handle online bookings, point of sale, and payroll. He also gave the staff new uniforms and redesigned the menu. Ramsay left without installing the new stove he'd wanted to because the engineer tasked to do so had found the kitchen to be unsafe and almost illegal. The whole cooking system had not been examined for 13 years. After Gordon left, the owners reverted back to their old ways. They brought in some of their old stuff and returned the 13-year-old menu Ramsay had replaced. Vienna Inn never improved. Where is the Vienna Inn today? This episode was filmed in November 2015. The Vienna Inn burned down in November 2017 due to a large and intense 3-alarm fire. Lisa and 2 others were inside the hotel, but they escaped unscathed. According to Fire Chief Mark DiFronzo, the Vienna Restaurant and Historic Inn suffered an estimated $50,000 to $75,000 worth of damage. After the fire on November the 18th, 2017, Jonathan and Lisa Cratch posted on Facebook that they would be temporarily closed. In the same post, they shared that the fire had started in the parlor room and spread with help from their clean linen. It seems their fire detectors weren't working. However, just months later, on February the 7th, 2018, the couple published their last post on the Vienna Restaurant and Historic Inn Facebook page announcing the inn's closure after 16 wonderbar years. When interviewed by Telegram.com in August 2016, before the inn burnt down, Jonathan Cratch said doing the show was akin to making a deal with the devil. Despite this, he did not regret the experience, but then again he also said that he hadn't watched the show in full and was not interested in a full viewing because the show was staged to make them look bad. Jonathan was especially against the notion that his kitchen was violating safety regulations. The Under Siege owner said they had a 45-year-old stove with automatic gas shutoffs and suppression systems, and he was glad that Ramsay didn't change it. He further alleged that Ramsay was only around for an hour. The rest of it is you're talking to him or he says something to the camera. He's not here. He's answering an interview you had. The editing room was very busy, let's put it that way. His daughter and employee Amanda Stratton disputed the idea that her parents were oppressive owners. She stated that she had even walked off Fox's filming because she felt the producers were only after scandal. The Vienna Inn never reopened after the fire. While it was open, reviews on Yelp are strangely positive at 4.5 stars, especially if you compare it to the roasting they received on Hotel Hell. Guests loved the food and service, with comments praising the Vienna restaurant's Wiener Schnitzel, wild boar and red cabbage. Today, Jonathan and Lisa Cratch run a catering company called Rangeley Lakes Region European Caterers in Rangeley Lakes, Maine. They have glowing reviews and recommendations on Google Reviews. Well, that will be all for today's video here on the channel. I do hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a massive like down below and comment your thoughts. Subscribe for more content like this and turn on those sweet bell notifications for instant access to our content. Have a good one, guys.